Hello, my lovely students. Welcome back to your science class. So, my dear students, today we will start our new chapter, that is sorting materials into group. Let's start. Welcome to the chapter sorting material into groups. So, students, this slide presents the overview of the chapter. Learning objectives. So, students, by the end of this chapter, you will be able to explain about the materials which are used for making different objects, list out the properties of the materials, identify the transparent, opaque, and translucent materials, discuss the state of materials, identify the objects which will float and sink in water, find out soluble and insoluble substances, illustrate the miscible and immiscible liquids. Introduction before entering into the chapter. Follow the instructions, students, shown on the screen. Click each tab to know more. We know. Generally, we observe that some of the objects have been broken as default from a certain height, whereas some of the objects have not broken. Do you know? How can we decide why some objects broke and some did not? Can we guess which objects might have broken and which might not? Let's find out the answer to such questions in this chapter. Let us know. Let us know about the materials and things in our daily life. We have seen many objects like a chair, a bullock cart, a bicycle, cooking utensils, books, clothes, toys, and many other objects. And students, all these objects are made of different materials, right? These all are made of different materials. For example, a book is made of wood, whereas a pen is made of plastic. And metals we can thus conclude that all the objects around us are made of one or more types of materials. In the same way, students, we also find that a single material can also be used to make different objects, and each object is used for a special purpose. So, my dear students, we need to know the properties of materials as well as the properties of the objects to decide which material should be used for making an object. Let us know about the properties of materials. We choose a material to make an object depending on its properties and the purpose for which the object is to be used, right? Different materials have different properties such as transparency, state of the materials, solubility, etc. Now, let us discuss the transparency of materials. Generally, we are able to see the things clearly through the clear glass. Yes, through the clear glass window pane of our homes, we can clearly see, students, right? So, in spite of the fact that there is a glass between us and the outside world, right? So, students, those substances or materials through which things can be seen are known as transparent materials. Similarly, we cannot tell what is kept in a closed wooden box, a cardboard or a metal container by looking through them, right? We cannot see. So those substances or materials through which things cannot be seen are known as opaque materials. Owing to this reason, students, shopkeepers usually prefer to keep biscuits, sweets, and other eatables in transparent containers of glass. so that buyers can easily see these items? Not and note that if students green light passes through a transparent object, the emerging light is green. Similarly, students, different light passes through a transparent object, the emerging light should be the different. If it is green, it would be green. If it is red, it would be red.
Here, we will do a lab activity to know about translucent materials. Click each tab to know more. The aim of this activity is to know about translucent materials. The materials used in this lab activity are white paper, oil, lighted bulb. Take a white paper. Look through it towards a lighted bulb. Now take a few drops of oil and spread it on the sheet of paper. Once again, look towards the lighted bulb through that portion of the paper on which the oil has been spread. Observe the difference in both cases. We have noticed that in the first case, we can't see the bulb through the white paper, but in the second case, we are able to see the bulb through the oiled paper. The materials through which objects can be seen but not clearly are known as translucent materials. In the same way, butter paper, muddy water, and frosted glass used in a window, smoke and fog are other examples of translucent materials. Here, let us do an activity to know about the state of the materials by lighting a candle. Click each tab to know more. Take a candle and place it on the table. Note, the word candle is derived from the Latin word candere, meaning to shine. Light the candle with the help of burning matchstick and wait for some time. Now hold a burning matchstick in one hand. Blow the candle out and quickly bring the burning matchstick close to a column of white smoke rising from the wick, but do not touch the wick with it. Observe the changes. We have observed that the candle wick catches fire despite being at a distance from the burning matchstick. From this activity, we learnt that a column of white smoke rising from the wick represents candle wax in the state of gas. Hence, we can conclude that the materials also change their state from one form to another form.
So students, here let us learn how to identify the state of materials. Generally, we observe that certain materials can change their shape according to shape of containers they are put into, right? While some retain their shape. The materials which do not change their shape, students, are known as solids. So, for example, we can say wood, right? Stone, plastic, objects, brick, vegetables, and so on. So, these are certain examples which do not change their shape. Whereas the materials which change their shape are called liquids, right? Such as milk, water, kerosene, oil, and so on. Similarly, we have observed that sugar takes the shape of the container as we pour it into the glass or in the bowl or in a cup. As we know, liquids take the shape of container, so we conclude that sugar is a liquid. But student, this is wrong. Why it is wrong? Because a single crystal of sugar shows that it is solid, whereas single drop of water shows that it is liquid. Hence, we can conclude that sugar is a solid.
Let us perform an activity to find the objects which sink or float in water. Click each tab to know more. Take a transparent water tub with water. Now drop the objects such as a stone, a piece of wax, a metal key, plastic ball, leaf, small piece of wood, iron nail, and a rupee coin one by one. Observe the changes. Repeat the same activity with salt water, which is excessively salty. We will observe that a stone, key, iron nail, and rupee coin sink in the water, whereas wax, plastic ball, small piece of wood, and a leaf float on the surface of water. From this activity, we can conclude that some materials in one shape will sink in water but float on water when they are in another shape. The materials that can sink can be made to float, but all the materials that float cannot be made to sink. Salt is denser than water, and so if you add salt to water, the resulting solution is denser than pure water. So, in some cases, objects that sink in fresh water cannot float in salt water.
Students, today's homework is try to solve A part of your back exercise question, that is, choose the most appropriate answer given on page number 42 and page number 43 of your science textbook. Till then, students, take care, stay safe, and stay home and stay healthy. Thank you, my dear students.